Right, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, I'm Adrian.
Nice to meet you, Adrian.
I live around here, but I'm from Manchester.
Great, okay.
Obviously, I follow a certain person who I can't say at the moment.
Right, okay.
But I think you know who it is.
I possibly do, but we will let them remain nameless.
And that's how I became to follow people like you and Kate Hopkins, and you know, I love the work you do, and I just want to know how we're going to get round the establishment, because it just feels like on a losing battle, and what your aims are.
Well, I mean, I completely agree with you. The problem with the establishment in this country is that they've become very isolated and remote in London. And I think that they can just speak down using the media to address everyone in the country without actually addressing anyone in the country. And so I'm trying to demonstrate that it's actually a better way of doing politics to actually go to the places and actually speak to these people in person and say, listen, right, because you honestly, you can't really trust what they're saying. They're always going to give you a particular kind of editive and highly polished and highly crafted narrative that might not actually speak to your concerns, and this way you can tell me exactly what they are. So obviously the first barrier that we have here is the media itself. It's the fact that they will not tell you something that they feel is against their own politics, and there's no doubt at this point that places like the BBC, the Independent, except the Guardian, they're incredibly biased in favour of Remain. And so the Brexiteer voice is never going to be heard fairly. So what I'm going to do is primarily use my candidacy, and if I win the platform, to try and just demonstrate these massive biases within the media establishment and try and speak truth to power and actually put the real issues that are affecting everyone on the table. I mean, Brexit's a given, obviously. I mean, it's the United Kingdom Independence Party. We're the party that made Brexit happen. I don't think I need to explain our credentials on that one, but it's a whole swathe of other issues that are deeply affecting people in this country. I mean, in the southwest, it's not so much immigration, but in the north and the northeast, that sort of area, the Midlands, it is. It's a real problem for them. You know, it's also a case of just, honestly, it's a real lack of confidence, and it's the way that the European Union has damaged the country that I think is worth actually pointing out. Even though UKIP have been doing this for years, hopefully because I've got a large voice on YouTube and I can just go around the media, I don't need them to speak to good people like you, hopefully we can actually start getting this message out without these kind of gatekeepers. And I think that's really the first step on the correct course to putting this country to rights. But I mean, there are so many other things, like the political corruption of our institutions. You know, we increasingly see the police politicized. We see the fact the NHS, that's becoming politicized. We see the schools. I mean, 2/3 of teachers in this country are Labour voters and active proselytizers against Brexit and against, like, well, I wouldn't call them right-wing ideas. I'd call them centrist liberal ideas. You know, they're very, very radically to the left. And I think these things all have to be addressed and publicly debated. So that would be my primary goal.
Yeah, so I mean, censorship worries me as well, because people are getting deplatformed for having a voice and getting branded racist, far right. I mean, I started following like yourself and other people, and you know, I've been branded racist, far right for following such platforms, and it's a worry about the censorship. I mean, one of my YouTube videos from the Betrayal March in London in December was restricted, and from a certain person's speech, and you know, it don't preach hate. It wasn't preaching hate. It was just saying it as it is. And you know, my main worry is how we're going to get around the censorship, and will people get platforms back?
Well, one of the problems we have in this country is that it's often MPs themselves or lords actually calling for censorship. For example, Tom Watson, the Deputy Labour leader, actively called for the deplatforming of Tommy Robinson. Now, you might not like Tommy Robinson. You might completely disagree with his message. But to have an elected MP call for him to be censored is obviously, I mean, it strikes right to the core of the problem in this country. And the thing is, this is not just a Labour Party problem. Michael Heseltine, a Conservative lord, also backed this to get him removed from a private platform on which he's never broken any of the rules. And if he's not breaking the rules, and I mean, it's important to understand that Silicon Valley, they operate their social media platforms very much in line with European standards when it comes to speech regulation. So we're not allowed hate speech. You know, we're not allowed these things, and it would be illegal in this country anyway. So A, Tommy would be arrested, and B, he would be deplatformed by design because of the way the platform runs. So to just openly call for the deplatforming of a man who has done nothing wrong in this regard because of his political opinions. I mean, you can't describe that as anything other than political censorship. And because now he's running for an MEP in the Northwest, you can consider that to be election meddling. I mean, I've had the campaign account that was run by these chaps, not run by me, suspended from Twitter. Again, it's another example of that. And I mean, there have been various instances. Obviously, I'll get loads of my videos demonetized, and I've had a few restricted and struck down and things like this. So it's undeniable that there is a campaign of censorship going on against the alternative media. But the thing that I think is incumbent on us is to get elected representatives who can have this position and actually fight in this corner. And this isn't even talking about what the European Union is going to do with Article 13, which I'm sure you're aware of. I was in Strasbourg campaigning against it. Article 13 is a directive that's going to force all European Union countries to create censorship laws to force Silicon Valley to scan every piece of material that's uploaded to any of their platforms in order to make sure there's no copyrighted material in it. Now, putting up a picture of, say, a movie is not a violation of their copyright, but this sort of thing will be caught and it will be removed automatically on threat of legal action. What that means is memes. They're coming for memes and jokes and screenshots and clips and GIFs and stuff like that on the internet. They're actually going to do it. Now they're going to say, well, put in a proviso to say that that's not illegal, but how does an algorithm know that? Right? Google have the best algorithms in the world, and they fail all the time. I know this because my professional career is to use YouTube. I'm intimately familiar with how their algorithm works, and it's not very good. And if that's the best in the world, you can guarantee that the worst in the world, the up-and-coming platforms, they have no chance of meeting these standards, and it's a barrier to entry for competition. It's anti-free market, it's anti-liberty, it's anti-free speech. The European Union is imposing this, and they cheer when they do it. So yes, we have severe problems with censorship at the moment, but this is why they can't censor us out in the street talking to you like this. So that's what I'm going to be, that's primarily the platform I'll be fighting on, I think.
Another thing that makes me sick is the treatment our veterans are getting, and I think UKIP want to help the veterans, and people like Tommy Robinson and other people
There's no
want to help the
question about
veterans, and there's just too many who are homeless on the streets and that, and it needs to be sorted quick, and the sooner people get out to vote like UKIP. I mean, as I say, I wasn't into politics until the last few years, until Brexit came about. I mean, obviously I voted Leave. My dad voted Leave. He's a working class man. He used to vote Labour, and yeah, it's just like people need waking up, it seems, and need to get voting like UKIP.
I agree. I mean, as far as I can see, UKIP are the only party that are even talking about our veterans, and I just want to make it clear, our veterans are heroes. They're the ones who keep us safe. I say this as the son of a sergeant in the RAF, my father did his tours in Iraq. He was in Basra as the chief clerk, and he was stationed out in the Falkland Islands, just because you have to do tours out there. He was out there for 6 months. I was raised on military camps. I spent 8 years growing up on JHQ, the Joint Headquarters, which was near Mönchengladbach in Germany, just British overseas territory, obviously. And I am obviously very, very concerned about the treatment of our veterans. And I believe I can't remember the name of the UKIP member who deals with veterans specifically, but he's the person to talk to. So. Keith Longsdale, sorry, yes, thank you, Johnny. It's Keith Longsdale who's the UKIP member who's particularly concerned about this and focused on this. So any questions, I would definitely recommend directing to him, because he's the expert. It's not my field of expertise. But I mean, I back him on this 100%. We as a country have a duty to support our veterans. You know, they did their duty to us. It's time for us to do our duty to them. That's my opinion on it.
The local elections are coming up, and the only choices it seems to have in the area where I live is Labour or Conservatives. UKIP don't seem to be on that, so it doesn't really want to make me vote in the local elections. I've not had a voting slip through about the EU elections yet, which are on the 23rd of May, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I'd certainly be voting you because I follow your work and that, and I just want to know, when are they due to come out, these voting cards? Because I've not had one through or anything.
Well, I actually thought they were already out. I was under the impression that people were already receiving them. If you haven't received yours, it might be worth contacting the local council and inquiring as to why. So maybe a mistake was made or something like that. But maybe I'm misinformed on that. I'm not too sure. But if there's no one in your local area standing as a UKIP candidate for the council, honestly, consider doing it yourselves. the worst that can happen is you don't win, and you never know. You might run into an area that actually does agree with the sort of things we're saying and wants to vote for a candidate that actually will represent them and won't represent the interests in Whitehall. So just do consider it, please.
And just one more thing it's worrying me, and I'll let someone else come on. Obviously, the Brexit Party, which Nigel Farage is in control of, like I say, I can't knock Nigel for bringing us Brexit, but I think he's distanced himself from the working class people, the working class communities, and people are saying it's going to split the votes with UKIP and that. So it's a bit worrying, because if that's going to happen, it could lead back to Conservatives or Labour getting back into power.
Personally, I just view the Brexit Party as sort of Nigel Farage's Tory roots really coming through, and it seems to be a vanity project that's the consequence of a personality clash between him and Gerard Batten. You can't be a member of the Brexit Party. They don't have a membership. It's just Nigel and Gawain Towler, who's the treasurer. That's the legal minimum to form a political party in this country, and so it looks very much to me like it's kind of Nigel rather than about the people. And like you say, he's operating from London. He's very engaged with the mainstream media, who all are in the Westminster bubble, and he seems to be courting big donors and people like that. And obviously UKIP is not like that. UKIP is funded by small donors. I'm funded by small donors personally. We have no strings on us. And this is why I think that Nigel Farage said, right, well, we're going to remove any representatives who are going to work with us who might have said something on social media 5 years ago that they didn't like or something like that. He's going to completely bow to all of this pressure. I don't think they're going to be able to find the moral fortitude to actually stand up and say, no, what we're concerned about is it's got a serious moral argument behind it, and we stand by this, and we don't care about how you tried to shame us. We know that this is right, and we know that you are wrong, and we're going to fight in our corner regardless. I don't think Nigel can do that, but I think UKIP can. And UKIP, frankly, it's the only democratic option for Brexit. The Brexit Party is, frankly, run like a tin pot dictatorship. I don't think I could support that, even if they were the only ones going.
I think I'll definitely vote for you in the EU elections. I'd like to thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you very much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
You.
Thank you.